Live Hope and Planet Gliese joined forces to change the world. Live Hope is supporting communities globally, including the indigenous tribes from New Zealand, Australia, Africa, Asia, South America, and the Native Americans. The pandemic worsened their situation, and Live Hope is helping with food, supplies, and medical necessities. Your contribution is fundamental for their survival. Please donate now to www.livehopefestival.com. While Planet Gliese is supporting healthcare workers on the front line worldwide with their necessary protective gear. Your contribution will protect our heroes, doctors and nurses from around the world to stay safe and keeping fighting COVID-19. Please donate now to www.planetgliese.com. The only way we are going to get through this is thinking as we and acting as one. Today's guest is live from Uganda. I'm happy to introduce you, Sam. Hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hello, Sara.
How
Nice
are
to
you?
meet you, and nice
Nice.
to hear from. I mean, I am fine. How are you, Sara? I'm
We're good.
okay.
We're really happy to have you here to share your story and what's happening right now in Uganda. Where specifically are you right now?
Currently, I'm in Uganda. Kampala is where I am hearing from. I'm joining you live from what? From Kampala in Uganda.
Tell me the situation right now. I know there are many things happening aside from the pandemic. There's also a flooding happening.
Yeah, the current rainfall that is happening all over the East African region has made a rise in the level of Lake Victoria, let alone the flash floodings that is happening all over the world, the East African region. Lake Victoria has actually risen 1.4 meters high within a period of what? Of 6 months.
And this is something that doesn't happen usually, right? Sam, this rising of the
Mm,
water is
in
not
history, Lake Victoria has risen 2 times, in 1961 to 1964 and 1980. Yes. Hello.
continue. Tell us about the situation with the lake and the flooding. We lost the connection. This happens sometimes. We're live from Uganda. We have Sam that is going to tell us the situation over there. They had flooding happening that is impacting the population very badly. They also are experiencing the pandemic and they are in lockdown. So we wanted to share with you their stories because we really need your help and your support. Live Hope Festival is live every day with you to share your stories from indigenous from all around the world. And specifically, these communities and these tribes are highly affected by the pandemic because their condition was already not very good and the pandemic just worsened their situation. So we want to ask you to act together and help with food, with the necessary supplies that they need at the moment. You can go and donate to www.livehopefestival.com. And you can also donate to help doctors and nurses from all around the world to receive the necessary protective gear to www.planetgliese.com. Uganda is a country in the east region of Africa, facing Lake Victoria. I think we have Sam back with us. Hi, Sam.
Yes, Sarah.
Yes. So tell us about the situation with the lake, with the flooding, and how that is affecting with the pandemic.
Currently, the whole country in Uganda is in lockdown, and the rise in the level of water in Lake Victoria has actually affected a lot of lives and threatened a lot more within the settlement around Lake Victoria. And the lakes that are still, even in Uganda, are still threatening to what? To rise in level during the what? During the current rainfall that is what? Going on in East Africa. And this has caused people to be displaced. Transport have been disrupted in many lakes region. You find the level of water has risen, so people cannot go on with their day-to-day activities. There are places that people have been working at, they can no longer go on to the workplace because as I'm speaking currently, there are friends who have what been directly affected by this rise in water level in Lake Victoria, and it's really threatening lives of people in this current situation of the lockdown.
Tell us more how people got affected by the flooding and the pandemic.
Mm, the people first of all lost their job. That is the first thing that affected people due to lockdown. Were terminated from their jobs because companies can no longer pay them in their contracts. Many people, including me, were all at home currently because of the pandemics. Plus that, the situation got worse for other people that are staying near Lake Victoria. As Lake Victoria rose, their places, their residents got flooded, that they can no longer stay in there, that they had to evacuate the place and find another place to stay.
So they lost their house.
They lost their house after losing their jobs. Specifically, that is currently what has happened to several other people.
We have a video. Tell us what's in the video before we show. We have a video to show.
There are several videos that I know currently is in Uganda. Several of them are talking about lake shores that have been disrupted due to this rise in water level. But there are specific videos that shows most of them they are always not hired out. I don't know what intention are always there behind it, but there are several others that are taken by people who are really near those places that
Uh,
are always able to be
Sam,
aired out. A point in
Sam, we're
yes,
going to show the video that you sent us, the last video.
okay,
So tell us about that region specifically, what's happening there.
that is Bugiri. The people in those videos are saying that they lost their job because some of them a case in a lady said that she was having her saloon. Then the following day when she went in the morning, she found all her equipment wet and destroyed by the flooding. So she had no option but to leave the place. The fishermen that are living near those lakes have lost their properties. Like boats have been swept and taken inside Lake Victoria because of the rise in water level, and several other things that has been happening, to mention but a few.
So we're going to show the video now to share with everyone the situation in Uganda.
Okay.
amaanyi gatukusiisa era mu kuyita twali tulowooza tuti tuli galigalaniifu okujja okwikaikana nga wakawakayonayona gatumazeewo ebintu muno batitukatendu tukatituka andi gatukusiisa era mu kuyita twali tulowooza amaadi gatukosiisa era mu kuyita twali tulowooza
Just a moment.
tuli galigalaniifu okujja okuyikaikana nga wakawaka yonayona gatumazeewo ebintu munumba titukatentutuka titukalya tuli kubonaabonera bwakumbali banange tusabira obuyambi nti mwidde mututaase kuba ge tujja tuzirawo nige tuba tuzirawo
zenalikolera ng'enumba yange byensembayo wanti awo omwana temugazikola lusana naye amaani gatukira ng'aviirewo ng'ajire nga bamubira esimu ati aida amaani gakubise ebintu byona byona byajja najja ng'ebisinga obungi byona
akosa abavubi bange bona amaato agandi gaja ne okutimba gwayononeka kwona bweyinika lw'amaadi agaaliwo n'abatyami ab'okulubalama bona era bakosebwa kale n'olwekyo tusaba gavumenti etulumuukirire ku kino ekiriwo abavubi abatyame bona endala babiseemu.
The great enemy of writing isn't your own lack of talent, it's being interrupted by other people.
Thank you, Sam, for sharing. Thank you, Sam, for sharing that videos with us. It really shows the situation with the flooding, with the Lake Victoria. People lost their houses, they lost their jobs, and they are in lockdown. They don't even, how can they be in a lockdown where they don't even have a house? And even with food, how is the situation with food?
The current situation with food, I barely know about other people, but currently, most of the people are receiving food from the government, especially the people with special needs, those who cannot afford to buy food for themselves in the current lockdown are mostly given food by the government. There is a general distribution all over the country by the government. They are trying to distribute food to all the people that are in lockdown who are unable to get food for themselves.
And what do you know? What type of foods they're giving? Is it enough? Do you feel it's enough? The way they're helping the government, is it just with food?
Basically, for me, I don't think they and bad, but they're helping with food because of. I have not seen any intervention that has been put in place to help the people who are actually affected by this flood. The only thing that I've seen that the government is doing because of the lockdown is that they are trying to distribute that are currently in the lockdown. They are distributing 6 kilograms of maize flour and 3 kilograms of beans to people in lockdown.
What about water?
Which is basically water. No, not really. They're not giving people water. There is no free water. The current water that is distributed is the pipelines that run in everyone's home and everyone's premises are always paid for as usual by National Water and Sewerage Corporations.
We have another video to show about the flood. We want to share with everyone.
Okay.
It's very important for us to share with the audience, not just through your words, but also with images, what's happening over there. And we really ask people to help this population because they are affected very highly.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
This is Gaba Beach, a popular leisure and entertainment venue, which is now slowly getting submerged by rising waters of Lake Victoria.
Almost 3 months ago, the water was
at a certain level, a little bit towards the lake. But as time went by, it continued just extending into the other side, the part of the resort. And I can see the entire compound is all filled with water. And then when you go on this other side, it's where the people used to enjoy the fish on the weekend. It used to be called the VIP section of this part of the beach. Next to Gaba Beach is KK Beach, which has not been spared by the rising lake water levels. The areas which used to have sand have all been submerged, including some parts of the compound. According to experts, the Lake Victoria water levels have risen in their highest in more than 50 years. Experts say the level has risen a record high of 12.93 meters in March to 13.12 meters. The highest level registered was 13.46 meters in 1964.
In 1964, to reach this level, it rained for 3 years. That was from 1961 up to 1964. That's when that lake filled up to the level that you see it now, until on some days when it reached 13.46. But currently you can see with just last year and this year, we are already reaching 1964 levels. Reason being, the catchments are degraded. So when it rains, more water runs down into the lake.
Another contributing factors, according to Kitutu, are the other rivers that pour into Lake Victoria. The rivers have caused silting of the lake, making it too shallow to contain the increasing volumes of water.
We've been told Kagera and Zoya are sending in a lot of water. Kagera almost doubled, and this has a bearing on the level of water that comes into the lake. I also want to inform Ugandans that that lake, when it rains on Lake Victoria, the amount of evaporation is equal to the rainfall that falls on that. So the net water that runs through the dams are those rivers, the Kagera, the Nzoias, those which come from Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda.
According to the minister, the dams which hold some of the lake's water can only be opened with caution.
We don't go beyond a certain level, otherwise we begin draining the lake. So the Ministry of Water and Environment normally tells us how much to release. Currently we are releasing 2,000 cubic meters per second. We have been increasing gradually, and I visited all the dams. I was at Karuma. Karuma is releasing around 950 cubic meters. I think it is the lowest. Reason being, it has Choga upstream. So even if we release a lot of water from Lake Victoria, but Choga will bear the biggest impact by flooding the lake shores.
Kitutu says she reported the matter to Cabinet for consideration.
As government, we plan. And like now, Minister of Disaster has to plan for those who will be displaced, especially those who went into the lake area. So it is important that we inform government. And also Minister of Works, the ferries will be affected, so they also have to plan. Then also those who have boats, the fishermen, they are also guided and they are able to know.
At Gaba Market, the water is near submerging the stalls and food booths. Even the water taps are almost completely covered. Some shops are sinking in too. The locals here have improvised some makeshift bridges. The stagnant water has become a breeding ground of mosquitoes and other insects that transmit diseases.
Gatukosezza olw'ensonga abamu batya okuyita ku ntindo ne beesigalirayo eyo. Abamu kale kwegambe era gatukosa kubanga tufulumya ssente nnyingi okukola entindo ezo abantu ze bayitako.
Experts warn that although Uganda is going to receive less rains than last year, if the neighboring countries that share the lake receive much rain, the situation will only worsen. Kitutu has warned people against investing heavily along the lake shores in violation of the recommended 200 meters from the lake.
I've already been told Gaba, even the national water investments, that also we need also to plan and shift, especially heavy investments shouldn't be in the areas where, water, that is its territory. That's the territory of Lake Victoria. So we need to respect it. And, you know, we don't have any control over the rainfall.
There is a fear that the level could beat the 1964 record level of 13.46 with only 0.34 meters remaining. Some are saying it was only a matter of time before nature reclaimed its territory. Sudilbia Ruhanga, NTV.
Do you want to go back to school?
Oh, how bad the situation is there, and we want to do a call to everyone watching in the world to help out. How can we help? What do these people need?
Really go to, and even if they are provided with a place to go to, they still need the things that are necessary to start a place where they have been allocated land to go to. So they will really need all these basic needs first and foremost at the first place where they're going to be allocated the land and places to go to. I know those will be things that the government should plan. I haven't heard yet, but I think those are the things that they will need. The first thing, they allocated a place to go to. And also,
Live Hope and Planet Glies want to join forces to make sure that you receive all the help that is possible, both with ventilators, protective gear for the healthcare workers, because you are facing a pandemic, and on top of that, there's a flooding and problems with the water and the shops being closed and food supplies. So we need to stick together and give as much help as possible. I want to remind everyone that they can go donate to, and any help counts. They can go to www.livehopefestival.com and www.planetglies.com. We need to help everywhere in the world. I want to ask you also, for kids, like, what happened with schools and how are they learning? Because they are our future, and are they taken care of?
the current learning equipment, the government has put in place measures last week, but one. They have distributed learning equipment. They have distributed papers actually that helps kids learning within this lockdown period. The people who will not be able to access TV, because there are people here within Uganda who are not able to access TV, but there are others who are able to access TV. They will be learning on TV every day. That is what the government has put in place.
Is there anything else you want to share and tell everybody about the situation there with the flooding and the pandemic that it's very important to share?
Yeah, there is. I'm going to withhold a name, but there's a friend of mine who was directly affected because of this flooding and the current lockdown. He lost the job first to lockdown, then secondly went on losing a home to this current rise in water level in Lake Victoria, and currently has shifted to stay with a family member.
Sam, we realize how the situation is there. I want to thank you for being live with us, and we will come back live again with you to monitor the situation, to see, hoping that there are progress, and to make sure that your voice and Uganda is heard from all around the world, so everybody can contribute and help, because not only the pandemic that is affecting everyone, but the flooding, the work, the shortage of food, of supplies for medical equipment and food. It's very, very drastic, the situation over there. So we need to raise as much money as possible to help. The government is struggling helping people, and people are losing their jobs, they're losing their houses, they're losing their family, they're losing their necessary livelihood, even their homes. So, and they don't have places to go. They need to stay with friends. Sometimes that is not even possible. So they're homeless with no food, with no houses, with no healthcare, and the pandemic going on, with no masks. So it's very important that we stick together, we raise money, we help them. We will come back. Sam, we want to know, keep talking to us. We will come back live with you to check the situation.
That is totally fine. I will be available.
We also want to thank you. We want to thank you for being live with us, for sharing your story and showing us the situation over there, because this is a moment in history where we need to get together. It's not just one country, it's every country in the world that is affected, and we need to be aware of what's happening everywhere in the world, and we need to become a big community where the less fortunate get help. So we need to help each other from everywhere in the world. If we have more, we need to help who has less. And this is the first time in history that this is happening. Everyone is affected by the pandemic, but there you're also affected by natural causes, by the pandemic, by the flooding. So we will be there live with you to monitor the situation, and hopefully things will get better very soon.
That is okay. I will be very ready to do another interview with you guys.
Thank you so much, Sam. We will see you soon. Take care. Bye. I want to thank everyone for watching. This was a very, very special live. We were live with Sam from Uganda that shared his story over there near all the area, not only Uganda, but all the countries affected by the flooding by Lake Victoria are losing their home, their houses. They have the pandemic going on, and there's a shortage of food supplies. So every help counts. I want to ask you again, one more time, every help counts. So please go donate to www.livehopefestival.com. And for helping the doctors over there, go donate to www.planetgliss.com. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back live with more news from all around the world to entertain you and bring you hope. Thank you so much. Bye.